them safe. Just by being here today, you are helping us with this work, creating memories that we hope will make a place in your heart for these beautiful creatures. If you would like to do something more,
Hey guys, we forgot somebody. Where's Augie?
Bienvenidos a KILIMANJARO SAFARI. Para su seguridad, permanezcan sentados, mantengan las manos, brazos.
well, hi, Jack. What's up? On the right, watch your hands, arms, feet.
Are we ready for animal greatness?
Yeah, hopefully. An animal.
Let's settle down over there.
And Jumbo means hello, friends. My name is Kaylee. I'm going to be your guide on our adventure through the Harambe Wildlife Reserve today. Just a few safety notes before we head out. Keep your hands, arms, feet, and legs inside this vehicle at all times. Stay fully and completely seated for the entire safari. And hold tight to your loose articles. I can't stop for anything that falls out of the vehicle. It's also very spotting guide up on the canopy. The reserve is made up of multiple different ecosystems, each home to different animals. You might be able to make guesses there as to what you might be seeing in the forest versus the river versus out on the savanna. So with all of that in mind, we are going to make our way into our first stop, the Little Ituri Forest. If you look over here to the right, you'll find an okapi. The okapi do their best to make sure they're neither seen nor heard. They're fairly silent animals that communicate almost entirely in scent markings. The stripes on their back legs help them camouflage into their surroundings. The stripes make them look a bit like a zebra, but they're actually the only living relative of the giraffe. You are going to find two saddle-billed storks next to us as well. Standing at their full height, they can reach about 5 feet tall with an average wingspan of 9 feet. They're fairly solitary birds. They're only ever found alone or in mated pairs like those two, but they do mate for life. Now, camouflage does come in a lot of different forms and different colors and patterns, but white stripes specifically work by mimicking light filtering in through the trees. So it's a very popular form of camouflage here in the forest. Looks like over here to our left-hand side, we're going to find a black rhinoceros. The black rhino is the smallest of the African rhinos, but adults will still weigh around 3,000 pounds. The bushes and the trees here in the forest do provide these animals with a primary source of food as well as a source of cover. Animals who get their food mainly from bushes, trees, and the nuts and the berries that they find on them are a kind of animal called browsers. That's one of the two different kinds of herbivores. There's some antelopes hiding over here on our left-hand side. Greater kudu in the way back, lighter brown, no horns. This is a female because only males have horns. And then a bongo down here, slightly darker brown, and horns that are angled back to keep them from getting tangled in the thick brush they hide in. We're going to find a lot of birds in this river environment. The large grayish white birds up on the islands are called pink-backed pelicans. They're actually one of the smallest of the pelicans, even though their wingspan's around 7 to 9 feet. And if you take a look over here to the left, you'll find a hippopotamus. A hippo will spend almost its entire day in the water, mostly to protect their sensitive skin from the sun. They can hold their breath up to 8 minutes at a time. They can sleep underwater too, relying on a reflex that allows them to head up to the surface, take a breath, and sink back down without waking up. Hippos are considered to be among the largest and most dangerous land animal in the entire world. They can get, adults can weigh around 5,500 pounds. They have one of the strongest bite forces out of any animal on the planet, and they are incredibly territorial. There's a few more down there by the waterfall. If you look, you can see a bird standing on one of their backs.
Over there!
A lot of birds out here in the river have really good relationships with those hippos. They'll eat dry skin and insects off the hippos' backs, and the hippos protect them from predators in return. Tree. Often nicknamed the upside down tree because it looks like the roots are up in the air. They'll go without leaves entirely for 9 months out of the year to conserve water. They can store thousands of gallons in their trunks, which becomes very useful to the animals on the savanna during droughts. For that, they're also nicknamed the Tree of Life. Find some eland over here. These are another kind of antelope, one of the largest in the world. A common eland can stand 6 feet tall from hoof to shoulder. But like most antelopes, they're still very good at jumping, and they're usually capable of jumping about as high as they are tall, so about 6 feet in the air from a standing position. Most of the animals out here on the savanna are grazers. They get their food from the ground and the grasses instead of our friends in the forest who eat mainly from bushes and trees. But giraffes are an exception to that rule. You can see one out here in the middle. They're the tallest animals in the world and the only ones who can reach most of the trees. Their role within this ecosystem is to trim the tree canopies to make sure that everything has enough sunlight to be able to grow. Take a look over here on the left-hand side. You can find some African painted dogs napping over there. The most successful hunters on the savanna, with a success rate greater than lions and cheetahs combined. They owe most of their success to being pack hunters that are good at working together and communicating, and persistence predators will chase their prey until it drops from exhaustion. And descended from wolves like domestic dogs are, basically a different branch off the same tree. You got some zebras hanging out in the back corner there. Zebras stick together in groups, sometimes called dazzles. Their stripes help them blend in with each other, making it difficult for predators to single one of them out of the group to attack. You can see a sable antelope back there as well. The sable antelope's horns are designed for defense, sharp and curved backward to stop predators from trying to jump on their backs. Working in groups, they've been known to drive off lions, and they're actually pretty unique in that in a choice between fight or flight, they'll pretty much always choose fight. A lot of these animals tend to stick together in groups, and they do that for safety in numbers. These animals can't really rely on camouflage for defense. There's just not nearly as many places to hide. And an animal hanging out alone in a big open space like this one's a much easier target for predators, so they tend to stick together and protect each other. Coming up on another giraffe over here on our right. Probably a few more down the road as well. Since they have pretty much no competition for their main food source, giraffes spend almost their entire day eating. They're usually eating for about 20 hours a day, and they'll only sleep for about 30 minutes. Not all at once either, just in little power naps throughout the day of a few minutes at a time, and they'll sleep standing up. Got a bunch of wildebeest over here to our right-hand side. There are a lot of them out here on the reserve, but their herds in the wild could number up to 1.5 million. Aside from humans, they're the most densely populated animals on the planet, and they stay in their groups as they migrate anywhere from 500 to 1,000 miles every year. Different kinds of giraffes have slightly different looking spots. We're seeing Maasai giraffes around here. Their spots are irregular in shape and size with jagged edges. As adults, they stand around 16 to 20 feet tall. Maasai giraffes are actually on the taller end of that average, but this little guy hanging out up on the hill here is actually only a few months old, around 7 months. Well, they're born at around 6 feet. He's already grown to around 8 feet tall. They start gaining height pretty quickly. They're able to get up and moving quickly as well, usually capable of standing in less than an hour after they're born. A lot of the animals around here look to the giraffes as a kind of alert system. Since they're so tall, they can see danger coming from further away. So out here when a giraffe starts running, usually everything else does too. Looks like on our right, we're getting our first glimpse of an African elephant. Of course, we're seeing an African elephant out here on the African savanna. But the easiest way to tell the difference between them and their Asian cousins is the shape of their ears. African elephants' ears are larger, rounder, and look kind of like the continent they're from. It's harder to tell just by looking at them, but there's a bit of a size difference between the two kinds of elephants as well. African elephants average about 10,000 pounds as adults, and they'll stand around 13 feet tall. But the females live in the family groups that they're raised in their entire lives. Eventually, they have their own babies and raise them within the same families, so information gets passed down through the generations, like the herd's favorite watering holes and feeding grounds, and each group's particular social rules. Looks like we've come up on a family group over here. These groups are led by a matriarch, who's usually the oldest female in the group. She'll be the one who makes decisions for the herd, leading everybody to new locations and making sure everyone gets along. You can see that there is a pretty young member of this family group. Babies are born at around 200 pounds. And at a little over a year and a half old, this particular baby is already around 1,000. Baby elephants learn by example, by copying the behaviors that they see from the adults around them until they get the hang of doing it all themselves. And the adults all work together to help raise the young. We're going to circle around a flamboyance of greater flamingos here. In the animal world, the word greater usually refers to size. So these are the largest of the flamingos. They're also the lightest pink. But no flamingo starts out pink. They all come out of their shells looking a bit like little gray fluff balls. The color comes from beta carotene, found in brine shrimp and algae. The more they eat, the pinker they look, and they won't look fully pink like adults until at least 2 years. The color fluctuates throughout their lives as well. Sometimes they look a little pinker than other times. It all depends on their diet. The predators, though. Coming up over here on our left, so you're going to find a pretty girl up on the rocks. A female lion up there. Lions are nocturnal. They are going to spend the majority of their day, if not sleeping, then at least resting. During the day, their eyesight is about the same as ours, and at night it is 6 times better. So they spend their days conserving their energy for hunting at night. And the females will do all of the hunting in that pride of lions. They will typically outnumber males, so the girls have the strength in numbers that they need to hunt successfully. So it's the girls going out to hunt while the males hang back to protect the pride and the territory. Looks like she got up and walked away. Standing over here. Oh, hey! Hey there, handsome. Oh, can you see the other girl?
Yeah.
In between the 2 rocks?
Yeah.
So that's the pride. Now, even when the lions split up, they can still communicate over very long distances. Lions' roars can be heard up to 5 miles away, even by humans. That is the loudest roar out of any of the big cats. Each pride has their own distinct vocalizations. Every lion's roar sounds different. Looks like our ostriches are visible again over here. They're just the cutest little guys. But they're also very useful animals to have around on pastures. Goats have got amazing digestive systems and they'll eat pretty much anything. So they clear out the tougher vegetation that other cattle can't or won't eat. Kind of like a more sustainable but also adorable version of lawnmowers. But as we exit the Magadi Glen, the safari is starting to come to an end. But we saw some pretty awesome stuff out there. And if you're wondering what you can do to help those amazing animals, the Disney Conservation Fund provides the funding to the research we do here on the reserve, as well as many projects and organizations worldwide. And here at Animal Kingdom, if you donated any register in the park, Disney matches that donation dollar for dollar. But conservation doesn't have to end here on the reserve or even on the African savanna. You can participate in conservation efforts at home by getting to know the animals you share your own corner of the world with. So see what you can do. Maybe you can plant a pollinator garden to help out the honeybees, or look up what you're putting in your lawn to help keep the waterways clean. And of course, education is one of the most important parts of conservation, and you're already educating yourself just by being here on this safari. So on behalf of all of the animals on the reserve, thank you so much for joining us today. It was my pleasure being your safari guide. I hope I was able to give you guys a really awesome tour. I hope you get to see some more of the amazing animals out there in the park today, and I hope you learned something new and continue to learn as you continue on your journey through the park. There's so much more out there to see and learn. If you're curious about anything we saw out there, you can come on up and ask after we dock. My windows are quite literally always open, and I will be more than happy to answer questions to the best of my ability.